Good morning, dear class 10 students. Dear students, we have already started the third chapter, that is the first phase of the Indian national movement, and there we have started discussing about the early nationalists' contribution in the national movement, their sacrifice, their demands, their proposals to the British government. So, in the last class video, I have started the demands of the early nationalists, and there we have seen the first point, that is the constitutional reform. Today, once again, let us go through with this point, and from here, let us continue the chapter. The constitutional reforms. The early nationalists wanted a large share in the government of their country. So, in the constitutional reforms, the early nationalists wanted that their membership in the government should be more, they should be given much priority, and then they believed that eventually India should move towards the democratic self-government, and they had the faith belief that later on the government should be, the country should be having the self-government, and it will follow the democratic system for the betterment of the nation. However, they did not ask for the immediate achievements of the goal. They feared that the government would suppress their activities. So, one side, if we see that they were not so courage enough, they're not so bold enough to directly speak these things to the government, because they had a fear that their demands and their requests should be suppressed. They therefore aimed at winning freedom through a gradual process. So, they therefore aimed for winning the freedom of the country by slow process. They made the following demands in the constitutional area. First point, abolition of Indian Council. So first of all, they wanted the ending of the Indian Council. Next one, expansion of the Legislative Council and the Legislative Assembly. And they said that the Legislative Council and the Legislative Assembly should be more widened, expand, both at center and in the provinces. Number three, increase in the membership of Indians by including some members elected by local bodies like chambers of commerce. So the membership of the Indians in the uh, councils should be increased. Like some of them should be taken from the chamber of commerce, some of them should be from universities, the professors in the councils, and by giving greater power to them, and this should be have the proper responsibility and the power to be in the council. They demanded Indian control over the public purse and raised the slogan no taxation without representations. So they also demanded the British that the public money of the country should be controlled by them, and no taxation or no tax should be taken without any reason, without any purpose. Number four, by the beginning of the 20th century, they made a demand for Swarajya or self government within the British Empire. So, the early nationalists, they also demanded the British that they should be or provide the self government within the British Empire, which is the British government, like self governing colonies of Canada and Australia, exactly like the Canada and Australia are having. Now, number five, adequate representation of Indian in the Executive Council, and proper representation of Indians should be given in the executive council of the viceroy and those of the governors. Now let us deal with the second point, economic reform. So in economical area, what type of reforms the early nationalists wanted? So the economic issues raised by the early nationalists including, so in economical area also the early nationalists brought so many issues, so many demands. First one, reduction in the land revenue. So they wanted that land revenue should be reduced and the protection of the peasants should be done against the unjust treatment of the zamindars. Number two, reduction in the expenditure on the army, and also the huge amount of money was spent behind of the army, so that should be reduced. No unnecessary money should be used for the betterment of the army group. So the money should be much used for the welfare of the country. For example, the government should much use money for providing health and education centers. So that should be the main point focus focused by the government, or should focus the government. 3. An inquiry into Indians growing poverty and famine. And when British government was ruling, at the time there are so many famines took place in many parts of the country. So the government should inquire and see the problem of the people, and especially the people who are living in poverty. So let government should do something better for the famine affected people. Number 4, availability of the cheap credit to peasants. So the government should provide the loan in cheap rate through the agriculture banks, so that through loan the farmers may grow up or cultivate the crops by the agriculture necessary things, so that the production should be done much better. Number 5, development of the banking, irrigations, medical and health facilities for the people. So also the demand were put forth to the British that the bank should be developed and irrigation should be well provided, medical and health facilities should be properly taken care by the government. Now number 6, we have industrial growth through trade production. So whatever things are manufactured in the industries, let that should be sold through the trade and business. So industries should be properly supported for their development, and also the trade also should be protected. That means that the heavy taxes should be imposed in the imported goods. So the goods which are going from India to other countries, let for those things the tax should be taken heavy, and the government should give loan for the development of iron, coal, paper and sugar industries in India. So the government should provide the loan for the iron, coal and paper and sugar industries as well. Number 7, the total abolition of salt tax and the duty on sugar. So 7 points they have demand is that the totally the salt tax should be ended and the tax should be taken on sugar. So dear students, this is the first video. We'll be going for another video. Let us see the next point, administrative point, in the another video.